All right, it's Thursday, September 29th. This is a morning update on the SPY. We're about an hour and a half into trading. You can see here we started down pretty big out of the pre-market range. And in a second, I'll show you how we reached kind of the low of the range I was talking about in the opening video here, the bottom of this area. And therefore we are kind of pausing right here. Again, whether we get a big reversal, hard to say. There's still plenty of time to go in the day. And if we can't, really get some kind of reversal, then you can expect maybe another push down to test these lows and possibly break out of all this broadening action back to the downside. So we're just going to have to see kind of where this 15-minute chart leads us. But it was pretty clear right at the open, as you're kind of uncertain what's going to happen today. You're in the middle of a big, 4-day range that I talked about. You look at the 5-minute chart. We started down, bar one, bar two, and then it was this third bar here that really kind of showed you breaking out to the downside, as opposed to just taking out these lows and immediately reversing in a very early kind of reversal to the upside. So once you broke down here on the first 15-minute bar or the third 5-minute bar, there was some definite good shorts, and a lot of other stocks were signaling that as well. So there was an opportunity, at least for a short-term base hit kind of trade, to kind of take it down, as I talked about. If we're going to break out of this range one way or the other, kind of look to head towards the either the top or bottom of the range. So we worked to the bottom of the range, and now we have to see what happens here in terms of pausing and either reversing completely or pausing here and then having another signal to try to take out those lows, which I'm kind of expecting to tell you. If you didn't catch this first move, look for a secondary trade to the downside. We have the weekly chart back red again. It turned green a little bit yesterday. Of course, the daily chart is a 2-down day, but we reached that target. So that's the bottom of this. Look at this. This is like 5 days now. It's just a range, but it's definitely red at the moment. So it could be just a big pause in here heading lower. So let's just see what develops here on the 15-minute chart. The way this day will reverse, in my opinion, is you really have to get above that first, even though I normally take the midpoint of the first bar here, to kind of say that my day is reversing. In the end, you got to kind of get above the high of the first bar to really reverse that day. That'll be a 2-down failure where you kind of come below the low of the previous day, and then you kind of work back above the midpoint of that day to start maybe a whole move back to the upside. It's hard to think that's going to happen here, given you're getting such whipsaw action, and then this is a big move down after three moves already that broad, and boom, boom, and then it's hard to get another one way up there again. So I almost anticipate kind of just a pause in here. There's a little gap area in here for resistance, and then if you can get that turned down, could be a secondary trade to try a push down here and to see if this whole area broadens out to the downside. But anyway, just following up here mid-morning, just showing you the trade of the day was going short early on. There were a lot of stocks to trade. I happened to get short Tesla, and had a nice gain there, and I got short Nvidia, had a nice gain there, and now either those or everything's pausing here in the market. So we'll see what happens, but I'll still stick with the downside bias here. It'll be interesting to see how that develops, or if somehow you get some kind of a major reversal at these lows. Never can predict it, but I'm going to stick with the downside bias here until something changes.